Let me ask you, Louis, now, you the youngest cat in the band.
That's often the case.
By some years.
Yes.
So, like now, you guys overseas, you in Paris, you in Dubai, wherever.
Yep.
You know, your interest has to be diverse from there. So, how do you occupy your time being a young man as opposed to an older gentleman?
Earlier, when I first started touring, like we'd be in Europe or something. You know, I've always been the youngest person on the gig so far. Anyways, I'm 26 now, but.
Yeah, don't get stabbed now. He's saying it loud. Try to make me feel
right?
bad.
George's gonna come in and hit me with a dookie stick. You know, nowadays it's just the reality of it is just most of the time you're so tired. After like a day like yesterday, we drove through the night from Minneapolis to Chicago. We got to take a nap for like a couple hours and go straight to sound check, do 2 shows back to back, and then then we're driving to the next city like after with barely enough time to take a shower. So a lot of times you don't really, either you don't have time, or if you have time, you just want to sleep or just hang with the boys.
Yeah.
So I play with this configuration is Marcus and George Duke and David Sanborn, but. I normally play with just Marcus and his band, and Sean Jones, trumpet player extraordinary.
Oh yeah.
We'll kick it from time to time. We'll go and after the gig and stuff, depending on how we feel. If we're not too tired, we'll probably just more or less go down and just hang out, have a drink down at the hotel, so we can just go right back up and get to sleep, You're
a little older now. All right, you can put your time in. You got your money in the bank. You start the Louis Cato School of Music. What would be the first things that you would teach your younger students?
Oh, listening.
That's the key. Like, is that the key?
To me, that's like the foundation. That's where that's where the journey begins.
Give me somebody gonna want to know what you mean. So can you give like a short example of what you mean? Say you just put the song on, and what do you listen to?
Well, listening is such a all-inclusive concept. That I hear a lot of people talking. People just the first thing as a musician you start learning. I think Marcus made this analogy once, but. You as a musician, like you start playing, the first thing you start learning is notes, But if you think about it as a language, like when you're like say you're like in another country or something, and I'm probably murdering this analogy by the way, but when you're trying to learn another language, you don't really know anything. It's like you're a baby. If you're in Dubai and they speak in Arabic, you don't have anything. You can't just play arbitrary like notes and stuff that you learn. Like you have to listen. And I think music is like in terms of like a foundation. That's like that's where you need to start. And from there you learn like different ways to listen, how to listen, like ways to listen from the perspective of each instrument, being listen how to listen from the bass, how to listen from the top instrument, from the lead instrument on down, how to listen from a rhythmic perspective. There's so many ways, like and then as that pertains to playing, if you get to a place where you learn to be an active listener, where you can still express yourself musically and be keyed in listening simultaneously. That's why I say that's where the journey begins, because then it's like life. Then it's just decisions. Now that I'm expressing, I'm conversing and listening, I call it active listening. So then, now you can make decisions about, okay, I hear what Marcus is playing? Am I gonna support that? Am I gonna lay under that? Am I gonna mimic it? I'm gonna copy it? I'm gonna validate it? You know, how am I gonna validate it? You know what I mean? There's so many like options. You know, that's why I say listening is like, you know, that's the beginning. That's where the journey begins, and it can get really. That's how you can play the same show, like, at least from my perspective. That's how you know I can play the same show for, you know, we've been doing this 2-2 revisited stuff for like over a year now with Marcus, and you know, it can be different every night.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Last question. Hey, let's explain to young cats about how endorsement deals work.
Yeah.
You know, because cats don't know nothing. They, you know, kind of give them you know, you ain't got to give them your business, but, you know, give them an idea just, you know, because people think you just get free everything whenever you get ready.
Right. No. You know what? My approach to that, I never approached anyone for an endorsement deal until I felt like it was, you know, I had something to offer on my side. Because essentially it's a business deal. I feel like if you have what you need, you know, then you're good.
Yeah.
You know, as you progress in your career, like what you need ends up, you know, your needs end up diversifying and being a lot more over time. You know, if I'm just, you know, when I was playing Wally's Jazz Club in Boston 3 to 5 nights a week, you know, I didn't necessarily need to have, you know, cymbals on a backline company, like have a, you know. I had a couple of cymbals that I liked, and I was going to the same club, playing the same, you know, the same spots, you know. I didn't feel like I had a need for anything. But then when I started touring a lot more and really doing, you know, a lot bigger exposure gigs and, you know, doing like North Sea Festival with like, you know, 18,000 people and, you know, in that range of things, then it's like, you know, then it makes sense to me because essentially it's a business deal.
Right.
You know, you have something to offer me, I have something to offer you, you know, and like it's a business relationship, you know, if you do it right, and it can be really, really great and for both parties involved. I endorse Vader sticks and Zildjian cymbals. You know, that's all I use. Which works out great for me because that's all I used anyways. You know, you know, I was already using Vader 8A sticks and Zildjian, all my cymbals by the time I even got endorsed were Zildjian. The cymbals that I liked, like the Constantinople and 20-inch to 22, those joints are so amazing. But you know, at that point it was like, you know, I have, you know, I'm playing, you know, the type of work I'm doing involves like a lot more exposure, and for them, like there's exposure for them, and for me, I have what I need on the road. You know, if I'm out on the road for on tour in Europe for a month, you know, that's a lot of sticks to have to be ready to go to, and you know, Vader is always on point, like making sure like I got sticks, you know, plenty, more than I need, you know. Yeah. And for me, it's not about, you know, it's not about just getting free stuff. It's about, you know, on my end of the deal, me being, you know, me giving you advertisement and exposure, and on your end, like, you know, making sure I have what I need. Just what I need, you know.
Okay, y'all. Louis Cato in St. Louis, y'all. We're going to let him get his grub on. It's getting close to showtime, y'all. Jross 10 million strong. We're going to bounce, y'all. Peace.